The Behavior Hacker, written and published by Sonic Tome. Behavior hacking is the art of systematically re-engineering the actions and patterns that govern our lives. It's about recognizing the unseen mechanisms that shape our daily routines and consciously choosing to break free from limitations, recalibrating our behaviors for personal mastery. To hack a behavior means to understand it at its root, the triggers that initiate it, the processes that sustain it, and the rewards that reinforce it. This requires diving deep into our own psychology, not merely to observe, but to transform. Beneath the surface of every habit lies an intricate web of neural circuits. These circuits aren't rigid. They are fluid, capable of being rewired with enough persistence and strategy. Imagine your brain as a vast landscape of pathways. Some are well-worn, representing the habits and behaviors you've repeated over the years. But beyond those familiar trails lie new possibilities, fresh paths that lead to different outcomes. It's the intentional act of treading these new paths that behavior hacking brings to life. Human behavior is malleable. We are creatures of habit, yes, but we are also endowed with the capacity for change. When you learn to tweak even the smallest element of a habit loop, whether it's a cue, routine, or reward, you begin to unlock the potential for transformation. The science of habits is a powerful ally in this journey, revealing that lasting change doesn't necessarily come from monumental shifts, but often from micro-adjustments that compound over time. Mastering behavior is essential, not just for personal growth but also for shaping your external reality. Success, however you define it, is often a byproduct of the behaviors you've consciously cultivated. It's not about luck, nor is it about talent alone. It's about the persistent refinement of actions that align with your goals. Those who consistently succeed are not the ones who work harder. They are the ones who have hacked the behaviors that lead to efficiency, focus, and resilience. Chapter 1. The Psychology of Behavior. Every action we take is rooted in a deeper pattern that has developed over time. Whether we realize it or not, these patterns are a direct reflection of our behaviors, shaped by habits, routines, and the environment around us. At the heart of behavior formation is the subconscious process by which we repeat certain actions until they become automatic. This isn't accidental. It's an evolutionary trait, designed to conserve mental energy and free our minds for more complex problem solving. However, what serves us in some situations can bind us in others. If we're not vigilant, these automatic behaviors can anchor us to routines that no longer serve our best interests. Habits are more than mindless actions. They are finely tuned responses to the triggers in our environment. Imagine your morning routine. It likely unfolds in a series of almost mechanical steps, from waking up to brushing your teeth, brewing your coffee, and heading out the door. Each of these steps is part of a sequence triggered by specific cues. These cues, whether it's the alarm clock ringing or the smell of coffee, ignite a routine that carries us through our day with little conscious thought. The power of this automaticity is incredible, but it can also be harnessed for purposeful growth and change. The science behind this involves neural pathways, which are created through repetition and conditioning. With each repeated action, these pathways strengthen, making the behavior easier and more efficient to execute. Think of these neural pathways as grooves etched into a piece of wood. The more you trace the same pattern, the deeper the groove becomes. This is why breaking a habit can feel so difficult. You are essentially trying to carve a new groove while resisting the pull of the old one. Yet, with deliberate effort, new behaviors can take root, and over time, the old ones can fade into disuse. The habit loop: cue, routine, and reward. At the core of every habit is a powerful neurological pattern known as the habit loop. This loop consists of three elements: the cue, the routine, and the reward. The cue is the trigger that initiates the behavior. It could be as simple as hunger, stress, or a particular time of day. Once the cue is activated, the routine unfolds, a sequence of actions that you perform in response to the cue. Following this is the reward, the satisfaction or relief you feel upon completing the routine. What many fail to realize is that the reward isn't always what it seems. It's not just the pleasure of eating or the relief of stress. It's often the deeper emotional or psychological satisfaction beneath the surface. This is why understanding your cues and rewards is critical for reshaping behavior. If you want to change a behavior, you must identify what is truly driving it. What do you really seek when you perform this routine? Once you have that understanding, you can begin to substitute new routines that offer similar rewards, gradually altering the habit loop to work in your favor. Internal and external drivers. Human behavior is propelled by two primary forces, internal and external drivers. Internal drivers stem from within, our emotions, desires, and inner motivations. These drivers push us toward behaviors that align with our personal values and beliefs. When we feel a sense of purpose or are driven by a deeper internal calling, we naturally gravitate toward actions that fulfill those intrinsic desires. On the other hand, external drivers are the influences that come from outside ourselves, our environment, social expectations, and external rewards. These drivers can be incredibly powerful, often shaping our actions in ways we aren't fully aware of. We adapt our behaviors to fit into the social norms around us or to meet the expectations of those we care about. The external validation of success, recognition, or status can be as potent a motivator as any internal force. The balance between these two types of motivation is key to understanding and reshaping behavior. While internal drivers provide long-lasting fulfillment, external ones can offer short-term motivation. Neither is inherently better than the other, but understanding when you are driven by internal desires versus external pressures allows you to make more conscious decisions about your actions. Influence of environment and social cues. Our behavior does not exist in isolation. The environment we find ourselves in plays a critical role in shaping our actions. Take a moment to reflect on how your behaviors change depending on your surroundings. In a busy office, you might find yourself more focused and productive. At home, in a more relaxed environment, those same behaviors might be harder to maintain. This is no coincidence. Your environment is rich with cues that influence how you behave. Think of the environment as an invisible architect, designing the possibilities for your actions. Change the environment, and you can change the behavior. This might be as simple as organizing your workspace to encourage productivity, or placing healthier food options within easy reach to improve eating habits. Small adjustments in your physical surroundings can have profound effects on your behavior. Social cues also exert tremendous influence. We are, by nature, social creatures, and much of our behavior is shaped by the people we surround ourselves with. The actions, habits, and values of those in our close circles subtly shape our own, often without us realizing it. This is why certain behaviors are easier to maintain in supportive environments, while others seem impossible to sustain in isolation. Being mindful of the social cues around you allows you to curate an environment that aligns with your goals. At the heart of any behavioral change lies self-awareness. Without understanding your current habits, it's impossible to modify them. It's not enough to passively observe your actions. You must actively engage in self-assessment, identifying the patterns that govern your life. This process can be uncomfortable because it forces you to confront aspects of your behavior that you may not be proud of or that may be holding you back. Self-awareness is about recognizing the deeper motivations behind your actions. Why do you procrastinate in certain situations? What drives your urge to overwork or to seek constant distraction? By peeling back the layers of your behavior, you begin to see the true forces at play. With this understanding comes the power to change. Effective self-assessment requires a commitment to honesty and reflection. It might involve tracking your habits for a period of time, journaling about your actions and emotions, or seeking feedback from those around you. Through these methods, you start to uncover the hidden patterns that control your behavior, allowing you to take the first step toward hacking those patterns and redesigning your life. Self-awareness also opens the door to mindful decision-making. Rather than acting on autopilot, you begin to make conscious choices about how to respond to the world. This heightened awareness allows you to intervene in your habit loops, altering the routines and choices that lead to better outcomes. Chapter 2. Hacking your mindset. At the core of every behavior lies the mindset that governs it. The way we perceive ourselves, our abilities, and the world around us shapes how we approach challenges, setbacks, and opportunities. It's not just about what we do, but what we believe about our capacity to do it. A person with a rigid mindset, who sees their abilities as fixed and immutable, will inevitably shy away from challenges, fearing failure. This mindset creates a fragile existence, one where every obstacle is a threat to their self-perception. Conversely, someone with a fluid mindset, one that embraces growth and learning, sees each challenge as an opportunity to expand their abilities. The connection between mindset and behavior is profound. Every action you take is filtered through the lens of how you perceive your ability to succeed. If you believe that your talents and intelligence are finite, your behavior will reflect that. You will play it safe, avoid risks, and cling to the familiar. However, when you embrace the idea that your abilities can grow, you invite discomfort, challenge, and failure, not as ends in themselves, but as vehicles for progress. This shift is essential in hacking your behavior because it transforms every setback into a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Your beliefs serve as the foundation for the actions you take, consciously or unconsciously. If you believe that effort leads to growth, your behavior will naturally align with the pursuit of mastery. You'll be more willing to take on tasks that push you beyond your current limits, knowing that discomfort is temporary and growth is the long-term reward. But if you believe that you're limited by some inherent ceiling, your actions will always reflect that limitation, and you'll be stuck in a cycle of avoiding anything that threatens to expose your weaknesses. Cognitive biases and thought patterns. Our thoughts are rarely as objective as we like to think. Hidden within them are biases, deeply ingrained patterns of thinking that distort our perception of reality. These biases, formed over years of conditioning, can become barriers to behavior change, locking us into cycles of self-defeating actions. Perhaps you found yourself avoiding a task because of the assumption that you'll fail before even trying. This is the manifestation of a bias, where a single negative past experience or even a limiting belief about your abilities casts a long shadow over present decisions. Identifying these biases is the first step toward overcoming them. We all have limiting beliefs, those silent scripts that play out in our minds, convincing us that certain achievements are beyond our reach. These beliefs often take root early, planted by experiences or societal influences that have shaped our worldview. Once embedded, they become the lens through which we view every situation. The key is to challenge these beliefs head-on, to question their validity and strip them of the power they hold over us. One of the most common cognitive traps is the belief that change must happen all at once. We're led to think that significant transformations require monumental efforts, and if we can't achieve that, why bother at all? This all-or-nothing thinking sabotages progress. In reality, change is incremental, built upon small shifts in perspective and action. By breaking down your thought patterns, you start to see that each small win compounds, creating a ripple effect that can lead to profound changes over time. The work of rewiring thought patterns begins with awareness but doesn't end there. It requires conscious effort to replace negative thoughts with empowering alternatives. This isn't about forced positivity or denying reality. It's about recalibrating your internal dialogue to align with your goals. When faced with a challenge, instead of defaulting to "I can't," the rewired mind asks, "How can I?" This simple shift unlocks creativity, resilience, and perseverance. Mental resilience is the cornerstone of personal transformation. It is the ability to withstand adversity, bounce back from failure, and maintain focus despite setbacks. But resilience doesn't emerge from nowhere. It's cultivated through deliberate practice, forged in the fires of discomfort and uncertainty. To hack your behavior, you must first hack your mental resilience, building a foundation that can support the inevitable challenges that come with change. Resilience is not the absence of struggle, but the mastery of it. It's about developing a mindset that views failure not as a defining moment, but as a data point, a piece of feedback that informs your next move. Each failure becomes less of a personal indictment and more of an opportunity to refine your approach. Over time, This builds an internal strength that allows you to face bigger challenges with greater confidence. Strategies for overcoming mental roadblocks vary, but one of the most powerful is the concept of reframing. This involves taking an obstacle and viewing it from a different angle. Instead of seeing a setback as a reflection of your inadequacies, you learn to see it as a necessary part of the learning process. In doing so, you diffuse the emotional weight of failure, making it easier to persist. The resilient mind doesn't just endure, it adapts, finding ways to move forward, even when the path is unclear. Another key to resilience is the practice of visualization. This isn't about wishful thinking, it's about mentally rehearsing success, so that when the real challenges arise, you've already prepared your mind for the journey. By vividly imagining yourself overcoming obstacles, you activate the neural pathways that will help guide you through actual difficulties. Visualization primes the mind for success, creating a blueprint for how you will act when faced with adversity. Resilience is also strengthened by cultivating an internal locus of control. When you believe that you have control over your actions, regardless of external circumstances, you become far more capable of navigating challenges. The external world may present barriers, but the resilient person knows that their response to those barriers is within their power. This internal strength fosters a mindset of perseverance, turning every roadblock into a stepping stone toward growth. Positive thinking is often misunderstood as naive optimism, but in reality, it's about training the mind to focus on possibilities rather than limitations. A mind wired for positive thinking sees opportunities where others see roadblocks, and this shift in perspective can radically alter your behavior. When you train yourself to expect positive outcomes, your actions begin to align with that expectation. You take more risks, engage more fully with challenges, and persist longer than you would if you were operating under a cloud of negativity. Visualization plays a crucial role in this process. By creating vivid mental images of the future you desire, you begin to internalize the behaviors required to make that future a reality. The mind responds powerfully to the images we hold, and by visualizing success, you start to prime your brain for the actions necessary to achieve it. This isn't daydreaming, it's mental conditioning. However, visualization alone isn't enough. It must be coupled with action. The power of positive thinking is amplified when it is translated into deliberate steps toward your goals. Every time you take action that aligns with your vision, you reinforce the neural pathways associated with that behavior, making it easier to repeat in the future. Over time, this creates a feedback loop where positive thinking fuels positive actions, and those actions in turn reinforce your belief in what's possible. The most successful individuals don't rely on blind optimism. They cultivate a mindset that balances positivity with action, hope with persistence, and vision with discipline. This mindset allows them to approach life's challenges with a sense of purpose, knowing that no matter what obstacles arise, they are equipped to handle them with grace and resilience. Chapter 3. Behavior Design Techniques. The Power of Micro-Habits. The grand transformations that people often seek are rarely the result of one colossal shift. Instead, they emerge from a series of small, incremental changes that, over time, lead to significant results. Micro-habits, these seemingly insignificant actions, hold immense power when compounded consistently. What makes them effective is not their size, but their sustainability. When the barrier to starting is low, the chances of maintaining momentum are much higher. Imagine the difference between deciding to read 50 pages a day versus reading just 2. The latter seems almost laughably simple, yet over weeks and months, it leads to completing several books. The minimal effort required for micro-habits bypasses resistance and makes it easier to take action day after day. The true beauty of micro-habits lies in their ability to circumvent the usual psychological resistance that comes with bigger commitments. Our minds often balk at the idea of large, sweeping changes because they feel overwhelming, distant, and fraught with potential failure. But a tiny habit, a single push-up, writing one sentence, drinking one glass of water, feels so achievable that it becomes nearly impossible to justify not doing it. And therein lies their magic. Once you begin, The inertia created by small successes often leads to larger actions. The simple act of starting creates momentum, and that momentum compounds. By designing micro-habits, you tap into this compounding effect. Rather than aiming to overhaul your life in one ambitious stroke, you plant seeds of change. Each day that seed grows, not because you spent hours nurturing it, but because of your consistent minimal effort. Over time, these habits blend into your daily routine, becoming second nature. And what once seemed small and insignificant becomes the foundation for much larger achievements. The brain, wired to reward consistency, begins to build pathways that make these behaviors automatic, embedding them into the core of your identity. Trigger mapping. Understanding behavior starts with recognizing what initiates it. Triggers are the silent architects of our actions, often unnoticed yet powerfully shaping what we do. Every behavior has a starting point, an internal or external cue that sets the wheels in motion. These triggers can be as subtle as a time of day or as obvious as an emotional state. The key to behavior design is identifying these triggers and mapping out how they lead to specific actions. Once you have a clear picture of what sparks your unwanted behaviors, you can take steps to disrupt the process or replace the behavior altogether. Trigger mapping is the process of pinpointing the moments when your behaviors take root. It's about creating an awareness of the patterns that precede action. Perhaps every time you feel stressed, you reach for a snack. Or maybe each time you see your phone light up with a notification, you instinctively check it, breaking your focus. These triggers operate below the level of conscious thought, pulling you into routines without much deliberation. By identifying them, you begin to take control, introducing intentionality into a previously automatic process. Once you've mapped out the triggers for undesired behaviors, the next step is to design intentional triggers for the habits you want to cultivate. The best triggers are specific and linked to existing behaviors or cues already embedded in your life. If you want to develop a reading habit, tie it to a daily ritual you already perform, such as reading one page after your morning coffee. By linking the desired behavior to an existing trigger, you create a seamless transition, reducing the mental friction that often accompanies new habits. Intentional triggers are also powerful because they serve as reminders of your goals. If every time you sit down at your desk, you place a journal in front of you, that action becomes a cue to write, even if only for a minute. Over time, the trigger becomes inextricably linked to the desired behavior, so much so that the behavior feels incomplete without it. You are, in effect, rewiring your brain to associate specific cues with positive actions, gradually replacing unwanted habits with ones that align with your long-term vision. The 21/90th rule. While small changes can initiate significant results, time is the ingredient that solidifies them. Habits don't form overnight, nor are they fully ingrained after a week or two of repetition. The process of embedding a behavior into your life is a delicate balance between consistency and time. The 21/90 rule offers a framework to understand this process. It suggests that it takes 21 days to establish a habit and 90 days to make it a permanent part of your routine. The first 21 days are critical because they represent the phase where you're battling inertia. Your brain is wired to resist change, especially when it disrupts established patterns. During this period, the goal is simple. Show up, no matter how small the effort. This is where micro-habits prove invaluable. The tiny, manageable actions you've designed allow you to bypass the brain's resistance. Your focus during these 21 days should be on consistency, not perfection. It's about proving to yourself that you can maintain the habit day after day, building the neural pathways that will eventually make the behavior automatic. Once the 21-day threshold is crossed, the focus shifts from establishing the habit to solidifying it. The next 90 days serve as a reinforcement period, where you move beyond merely performing the habit to embedding it as part of your identity. This stage requires persistence because although the habit has taken root, it's still susceptible to disruption. Life's challenges, distractions, stress, changes in routine can easily derail progress if you're not mindful. During this phase, It's essential to fortify your commitment by gradually increasing the complexity or duration of the habit. If you've been doing 5 minutes of meditation daily, consider increasing it to 10. This gradual escalation helps keep the habit fresh and engaging, while further ingraining it into your routine. Staying committed over 90 days requires more than willpower. It demands a system that includes accountability, whether through tracking your progress, sharing your goals with a trusted friend, or setting up reminders to stay on course. Accountability ensures that even on days when motivation wanes, you continue to show up. Moreover, by the time you've reached the 90-day mark, the habit has become not just something you do, but part of who you are. Your identity shifts, aligning with the behaviors you've consistently practiced. What once required effort now feels natural, and the compounding effect of micro-habits turns into the foundation for lasting, transformational change. Chapter 4. Behavioral Feedback Loops. Transformation doesn't occur in a vacuum. It requires observation, adjustment, and reflection. One of the most powerful ways to ensure your efforts lead to meaningful change is by tracking your progress. Tracking is more than just a passive recording of actions. It's a way to turn abstract goals into tangible evidence of growth. When you track your behavior, you're no longer left wondering if you're making progress. You have data that speaks for itself. This tangible measurement acts as both a motivator and a guide, helping you stay aligned with your objectives and make necessary adjustments along the way. The act of tracking brings a level of clarity that's often missing in self-improvement efforts. Without it, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking you're making progress simply because you feel like you're trying. But feelings are fleeting, easily swayed by momentary successes or setbacks. Data, on the other hand, is indifferent. It shows the reality of your actions. Whether it's the number of hours spent on a new skill, the consistency of your exercise routine, or the frequency of your meditation practice, tracking provides irrefutable evidence of where you are and where you're headed. It bridges the gap between intention and reality. Effective tracking also uncovers patterns that might otherwise go unnoticed. Perhaps you notice a dip in productivity on certain days of the week, or you realize that your energy wanes after a specific task. These insights allow you to optimize your routine, scheduling your most important tasks when you're at your peak or adjusting your environment to reduce distractions. This is where the power of data shines, not just in reflecting your actions, but in revealing deeper truths about how you operate. In today's world, there are countless tools at your disposal to assist with tracking. Whether it's a simple notebook or an app designed to monitor habits, the key is to choose a method that works for you and stick with it. What matters most is consistency. The act of logging your progress, no matter how small, reinforces the habit itself, creating a sense of accomplishment and momentum. Over time, you accumulate a record of your journey, which serves as both a reminder of how far you've come and a blueprint for future growth. The role of data in understanding personal patterns. Data, when viewed through the right lens, can be a mirror to your inner workings. The patterns you create consciously or unconsciously often hold the answers to why certain habits stick while others falter. Through the consistent tracking of behaviors, you begin to see correlations that would otherwise remain hidden. You start to recognize not just what you're doing, but why you're doing it. Maybe certain habits thrive when paired with others, or maybe your productivity fluctuates based on specific triggers in your environment. Data illuminates the areas where your efforts pay off and, just as importantly, where they don't. It highlights the inefficiencies, the habits that seemed like a good idea at the outset, but have failed to generate the desired results. It's not about perfection, it's about refinement. Armed with this knowledge, you can make informed decisions about where to direct your energy. Should you double down on a behavior that's showing steady growth, or pivot away from a routine that's yielded little return? Data gives you the insight needed to continuously evolve your approach, but it's essential to recognize that data, while objective, is only as valuable as the actions it inspires. Simply collecting numbers won't change your behavior. What matters is how you interpret that information and use it to refine your strategy. Progress doesn't come from simply measuring. It comes from using what you measure to make smarter, more deliberate choices. This is where the feedback loop begins. Tracking provides the data, and the data informs the next step in your journey. The role of feedback. Feedback is the lifeblood of personal growth. It's the mechanism through which you learn whether your actions are moving you closer to or further from your goals. But not all feedback is created equal, and understanding the distinction between internal and external feedback can dramatically accelerate your progress. Internal feedback is the voice of self-assessment, the inner dialogue that tells you how well you're doing based on your own standards and values. It's the gut feeling that arises after completing a task, the sense of accomplishment or dissatisfaction that bubbles up when you reflect on your actions. Internal feedback is immediate and intuitive, offering real-time insights into your behaviors. It helps you course-correct on the fly, allowing you to make small adjustments before things spiral too far off track. However, internal feedback can also be biased. It's shaped by your emotions, past experiences, and expectations, which means it's not always an accurate reflection of reality. This is where external feedback becomes essential. External feedback comes from the world around you, from the people you trust, and from the results of your efforts. It's objective, providing you with a reality check that either confirms or challenges your internal assessment. Whether it's a mentor offering advice, a friend pointing out blind spots, or the tangible outcomes of a project, external feedback broadens your perspective and prevents you from falling into the trap of self-deception. Effective behavior design requires both types of feedback. Internal feedback keeps you connected to your personal goals and values, while external feedback ensures that your actions are aligned with the real world. The interplay between the two creates a feedback loop that helps refine your habits over time. As you gather more feedback, you begin to see which behaviors are working and which need adjustment. This iterative process is what allows you to continuously optimize your habits, moving closer to mastery with each cycle. Using feedback loops to refine and optimize your habits. A feedback loop is a cycle of action, evaluation, and adjustment. It's the process of using the information you gather, whether from tracking, data, or feedback, to make informed decisions about your next steps. Every habit you build should be subject to this loop, continuously refined and optimized based on the feedback you receive. The beauty of a feedback loop is that it eliminates the guesswork from habit formation. Instead of wondering whether a particular behavior is effective, you rely on the data and feedback to guide you. If something isn't working, the loop allows you to adjust without feeling like you've failed. You simply gather the information, tweak your approach, and try again. Over time, this process leads to a fine-tuned system where your habits are not just effective, but aligned with your broader goals. But feedback loops aren't just about improving what you're already doing. They're about pushing you toward new levels of achievement. As you refine one habit, you create space for more growth. The loop doesn't close. It expands, creating opportunities for even greater progress. By consistently evaluating and adjusting, you build a system of continuous improvement where each iteration brings you closer to your potential. Chapter 5. Environmental Design for Behavior Hacking. The environment you live and work in is more than a backdrop to your daily life. It is an active force that shapes your behavior, often in subtle yet profound ways. The way your physical surroundings are organized, the cues they present, and the energy they exude have a direct impact on the decisions you make and the actions you take. You may not consciously realize it, but your environment either nudges you toward productive habits or steers you into unproductive ones. Your surroundings silently shape your choices. Imagine the layout of your workspace. Is it cluttered with distractions, or is it streamlined for focus? The items that are within arm's reach will largely determine what you engage with. If your phone is always in your line of sight, it becomes an invitation for distraction, even if you don't intend to use it. Conversely, if you surround yourself with tools that facilitate productivity, a notebook, a book you're reading, or a water bottle to stay hydrated, your environment encourages behaviors that align with your goals. Designing your physical space is not about filling it with things, but carefully curating what is in your immediate vicinity to align with your intentions. This principle applies to all areas of life. If you want to eat healthier, the layout of your kitchen should reflect that desire. Fill your shelves with nutritious options, and make unhealthy choices less accessible or visible. When you reduce the friction between you and the habits you wish to cultivate, you make it easier for yourself to follow through. Habits are not just formed in your mind. They are shaped by the spaces you inhabit. Every object and arrangement becomes a signal, reinforcing the behaviors you wish to practice or break. One powerful strategy is to create zones in your environment that are dedicated to specific activities. If you work, eat, relax, and exercise all in the same space, your brain struggles to differentiate between those activities. By creating a workspace solely for work, a relaxation space for unwinding, and an exercise area for physical activity, you mentally associate each zone with its intended purpose. These associations reduce decision fatigue, making it easier to slip into the desired behavior when you enter a particular space. Another aspect of optimizing your environment is controlling sensory input. Light, sound, and even scent can influence how you feel and act. Natural light promotes focus and energy, while poor lighting can make you feel lethargic. The sounds around you, from background music to street noise, either distract or enhance concentration. Even the scent of your surroundings, whether it's the aroma of coffee that signals it's time to work or lavender that cues relaxation, affects your mental state. Designing these sensory elements intentionally can transform the way you engage with your space, subtly guiding you toward behaviors that align with your goals. Social influence and behavior. Human beings are deeply social creatures, and no matter how independent you may believe yourself to be, your behavior is influenced by the people around you. Your social environment, the relationships you nurture, the communities you engage with, and the networks you belong to, plays an enormous role in shaping your actions, your thoughts, and even your beliefs. Whether you realize it or not, the behaviors of those closest to you often serve as templates for your own actions. This influence is not always overt, but it's ever present. If you're surrounded by individuals who are driven, positive, and consistently working towards self-improvement, you'll find yourself subtly adapting those qualities. It's not a conscious decision, it's the natural outcome of social dynamics. You begin to normalize the behavior of the people around you, adopting their habits and expectations. The reverse is equally true. If your environment is filled with negativity, laziness, or complacency, it becomes increasingly difficult to break free from those influences. It's not about judging others, it's about understanding the social currents that either lift you up or pull you down. To hack your behavior effectively, you must be intentional about the social circles you maintain. This doesn't mean abandoning long-standing friendships, but it does require a level of discernment about who you allow into your closest spaces of influence. Are the people around you encouraging your growth, or are they reinforcing habits that no longer serve you? A supportive community is not just a luxury. It's an essential element of successful behavior change. The right network not only holds you accountable, but also reinforces the belief that the changes you seek are possible. But it's not only about receiving support, it's about giving it too. When you become a source of positive influence for others, it reinforces your own habits and behaviors. Teaching or mentoring someone else in areas where you've succeeded makes you more committed to those actions yourself. This reciprocity creates a feedback loop, where everyone in the network benefits from the shared commitment to growth and improvement. Digital environment and behavior. In an increasingly digital world, the environment that shapes our behavior is not confined to the physical spaces we inhabit. Your digital landscape, the apps on your phone, the websites you frequent, and the notifications that demand your attention is just as powerful in determining your actions as your physical surroundings. And unlike the physical world, the digital environment is designed to capture your attention, often pulling you in directions you didn't intend to go. Every time you open your phone or computer, you're stepping into a digital ecosystem that has been carefully engineered to keep you engaged. This is not by accident. The algorithms that govern social media, news feeds, and even email notifications are designed to maximize your time on those platforms. It's easy to lose control in this environment because the digital world thrives on distraction. But if you can manage your digital environment with the same care you give to your physical space, you regain that control. Start by curating your digital tools and platforms. Remove apps or websites that offer little value but demand significant attention. Turn off unnecessary notifications and instead, set specific times to check messages, emails, or updates. It's not enough to rely on willpower to resist distractions. You need to design an environment that minimizes the temptation altogether. Consider using tools that block distracting sites during certain hours, or limit the time you can spend on them. The goal is to ensure that your digital interactions align with your overall intentions and priorities. But the digital environment also has tremendous potential for positive influence. There are countless tools and resources available to enhance productivity, track habits, and encourage learning. The key is to choose technologies that support your goals rather than hinder them. For instance, an app that helps you meditate or track your exercise routine can be a valuable tool in reinforcing new habits. A carefully curated podcast or online course can expose you to ideas that expand your thinking and encourage growth. The power of the digital environment lies in its dual nature. It can either be a force for distraction or a tool for transformation. The choice of how to engage with it is yours. By taking control of your digital habits, you ensure that your time and attention are directed toward behaviors that move you closer to the life you want to lead. Chapter 6. Mastering Self-Control and Discipline. Willpower is often seen as a finite resource, something that depletes as we exercise it, but it is much more complex and powerful than this. Willpower is the engine that drives self-control, and understanding its mechanics allows you to harness it more effectively. At its core, willpower is not just about resisting temptation or forcing yourself to do something unpleasant. It's about directing your focus toward what truly matters. The ability to concentrate energy on long-term goals, even when short-term desires try to derail you, is what sets apart those who achieve great things from those who merely aspire. What many people fail to realize is that willpower is a muscle, one that can be trained, strengthened, and conditioned. The more you practice it, the more resilient it becomes. However, just like any muscle, willpower fatigues with overuse. That's why the decisions you make first thing in the morning are easier than those you face at the end of a long day. This is where the science of willpower becomes crucial. It teaches you not just to use willpower, but to protect it. By being strategic in how and when you deploy it, you conserve it for moments that matter most. One of the most effective ways to strengthen self-control is through gradual exposure to difficult tasks. Start with small, manageable challenges that require discipline. Each time you succeed, your capacity for willpower grows. You don't build strength by attempting the heaviest weight on your first day at the gym. Similarly, you don't develop willpower by tackling your biggest temptations right away. Instead, you focus on consistency and gradual progression, making small gains that compound over time. Another key to mastering willpower is eliminating unnecessary decisions. Every decision you make requires cognitive effort, and the more choices you're faced with, the more you deplete your reserves of self-control. Simplifying your life, whether through habits, routines, or pre-made decisions, allows you to conserve willpower for the moments when it's truly needed. It's not about being rigid, but about reducing decision fatigue so that you can channel your energy toward the behaviors that matter most. Techniques to strengthen self-control. To build self-control, you must first develop an understanding of the triggers that challenge it. Every time you're faced with temptation or distraction, you're presented with a choice. These moments of decision-making are where self-control is most tested. One of the most powerful techniques for strengthening self-control is learning to anticipate these moments and prepare for them in advance. Instead of being reactive, you become proactive, designing strategies to navigate these situations with greater ease. One such strategy is pre-commitment. This involves setting up your environment in a way that limits your exposure to temptation or distraction before the challenge arises. If you know you tend to procrastinate on certain tasks, remove the triggers that enable procrastination. Turn off notifications, block distracting websites, or put your phone in another room. By reducing the number of times you have to rely on sheer willpower, you conserve it for when it's truly necessary. Visualization is another effective tool. When you visualize yourself successfully navigating a challenge, you're mentally rehearsing the behavior you want to exhibit. This primes your mind to act in alignment with your goals when the time comes. By repeatedly visualizing yourself making the right choices, you strengthen your mental resolve and increase the likelihood of success when faced with real-world challenges. A lesser-known but highly effective technique is the use of if-then statements. This involves creating mental scripts that guide your behavior in specific situations. For example, if I'm tempted to skip my workout, then I will remind myself how great I'll feel afterward. These statements act as mental cues, providing you with a clear plan of action when your self-control is tested. The more you rehearse these scripts, the more automatic they become, reducing the effort required to exercise self-control in challenging situations. Delayed gratification and long-term thinking. In a world that constantly offers instant rewards, the ability to delay gratification is a rare and valuable skill. It is the foundation of long-term success, underpinning everything from financial discipline to personal growth. Delayed gratification isn't about denying yourself pleasure. It's about having the patience and foresight to invest in something greater down the line. Those who master this skill are able to resist short-term impulses in favor of long-term rewards, building a life that aligns with their highest goals. Patience is the quiet force behind all meaningful progress. It allows you to endure the discomfort of not having immediate results while remaining steadfast in your pursuit of something bigger. The more you practice delaying gratification, the more you build the muscle of patience. Each time you resist a momentary temptation, you reinforce your ability to focus on the bigger picture. Over time, this mindset shift becomes ingrained, making it easier to prioritize long-term benefits over fleeting satisfaction. The key to mastering delayed gratification is reframing how you view time and rewards. Instead of seeing immediate pleasure as the goal, you begin to see it as a distraction. The true reward becomes the satisfaction of knowing you're building something lasting. Each moment you delay gratification, you are not depriving yourself. You're investing in a future that is more aligned with your highest aspirations. This mental shift allows you to navigate challenges with a sense of purpose, knowing that the reward you seek is not only worth the wait, but far greater than anything you could gain in the present. To cultivate this mindset, start small. Practice delaying gratification in simple ways. Skip the dessert, save a portion of your earnings, or spend an extra 10 minutes learning a new skill instead of watching television. Each small act of patience strengthens your ability to resist short-term rewards, building a powerful foundation for long-term thinking. As you master this skill, you'll find that the decisions that once seemed difficult become second nature. Building the muscle of delayed rewards. Just as self-control can be trained, so can your ability to wait for greater rewards. Each time you choose the long-term benefit over the immediate one, you are strengthening the muscle of delayed rewards. This isn't about enduring suffering or deprivation. It's about cultivating the discipline to prioritize what truly matters over what feels good in the moment. Each instance of delayed gratification becomes a deposit into the bank of future success, and the more you practice it, the easier it becomes to see the value in waiting. One of the most effective ways to build this muscle is through the practice of incremental rewards. Instead of focusing solely on the distant future, break down your long-term goals into smaller milestones. Each time you reach a milestone, reward yourself in a way that reinforces your progress without undermining your larger objective. This keeps you motivated while also training your brain to associate delayed rewards with positive outcomes. Another key to building this muscle is managing your environment. The more you're surrounded by instant gratification, the harder it becomes to resist. By intentionally designing your surroundings to minimize temptations, you make it easier to focus on the rewards that truly matter. Whether it's removing distractions from your workspace or curating a social circle that values long-term thinking, the environment you create has a significant impact on your ability to delay rewards. Handling setbacks. Setbacks are an inevitable part of any journey toward mastery. No matter how strong your willpower or discipline, there will be moments when you falter. But setbacks do not define you. It is your response to them that determines your progress. The most successful individuals are not those who never fail, but those who recover from failure quickly and learn from it. Each setback is an opportunity to refine your approach, to identify the gaps in your strategy, and to come back stronger. The key to recovering from setbacks is to approach them with a mindset of curiosity rather than judgment. Instead of viewing a lapse in self-control as a personal failure, see it as valuable data. What triggered the setback? Was it a lack of preparation, a moment of emotional vulnerability, or something in your environment? By analyzing the factors that led to the setback, you can design strategies to prevent it from happening again. Persistence is the cornerstone of resilience. When you encounter a setback, it's easy to become discouraged and give up. But this is where real growth happens. Each time you pick yourself up and continue moving forward, you're reinforcing the habit of persistence. Over time, this builds an internal strength that makes future setbacks less daunting. You begin to see challenges not as roadblocks, but as stepping stones toward your ultimate goal. Adaptability is another crucial element in handling setbacks. Life is unpredictable, and rigid plans often break under pressure. The ability to adapt, to adjust your goals, strategies, or mindset when necessary, ensures that you remain on course, even when the path isn't as straight as you imagined. Flexibility allows you to recover from failures and setbacks without losing sight of your long-term objectives. By staying adaptable, you turn obstacles into opportunities for growth, continuously evolving and improving as you navigate the journey. Chapter 7. Behavioral Hacking for Success. Success in any field is often less about talent and more about mastering the art of using time effectively. Time, unlike other resources, cannot be recovered once lost. Therefore, hacking your productivity through intentional behavior modification is not just a strategy, it's a necessity. To achieve peak performance, you must design routines that maximize your output while minimizing distractions. It's not about working longer hours, but about working smarter, ensuring that each minute you spend is aligned with your highest priorities. The foundation of productivity lies in understanding your personal rhythms. Some people thrive in the early morning, while others find their peak energy in the afternoon or evening. The key is not to force yourself into a rigid schedule that doesn't suit your natural tendencies, but to tailor your work around these energy flows. Identify your peak performance windows, and allocate your most important, mentally demanding tasks to those times. Protect this time fiercely, treating it as a non-negotiable commitment to your success. One of the most powerful techniques for optimizing your day is the concept of time blocking. This involves dividing your day into chunks, each dedicated to a specific task or set of tasks. By assigning a block of time for deep work, meetings, and breaks, you create a structured day that eliminates decision fatigue and reduces the likelihood of distractions. Each block serves a clear purpose, and because it is time-bound, you're more likely to stay focused and motivated to complete the task at hand. This technique not only increases efficiency, but also ensures that you maintain a balance between work and rest. Another essential hack is mastering the art of prioritization. Success does not come from doing everything, but from doing the right things. Develop the discipline to identify the tasks that will have the greatest impact on your long-term goals. Focus on these high-leverage activities and delegate or eliminate anything that doesn't move the needle. When you hack your behavior to prioritize the vital few over the trivial many, you exponentially increase your chances of success. Using behavior hacking for peak performance. To operate at peak performance, it's not enough to simply manage time. You must optimize every aspect of your behavior to ensure consistent, high-level output. This involves creating feedback loops that help you monitor and adjust your behaviors in real time. One way to do this is by setting clear, measurable goals and tracking your progress daily. By reviewing your performance at the end of each day or week, you gain insights into what's working and what isn't, allowing you to refine your approach. Equally important is learning how to manage energy, not just time. Your energy levels fluctuate throughout the day, influenced by factors like nutrition, sleep, stress, and even emotional state. By tuning into these fluctuations, you can adjust your behavior to make the most of your high-energy periods while protecting your low-energy times for recovery and reflection. Rest and renewal are as crucial to peak performance as hard work. Without them, burnout becomes inevitable. Moreover, behavior hacking for peak performance often involves breaking tasks down into manageable micro-goals. This not only makes large, daunting projects feel more achievable, but also creates momentum. Each small win builds on the last, generating a sense of accomplishment that fuels further action. This momentum becomes a powerful driver, propelling you toward larger, more complex goals with greater confidence and motivation. Your body and mind are inextricably linked, and hacking your health and wellness is crucial for sustaining long-term success. Physical vitality directly impacts mental clarity, focus, and resilience, so the behaviors that contribute to physical well-being must be treated as non-negotiable components of your routine. If you neglect your health, your performance will suffer, no matter how efficient your productivity hacks may be. Start by evaluating your sleep habits. Sleep is the foundation of recovery, and without it, both your body and mind will struggle to function at their best. To hack your sleep, create a consistent routine that signals to your body when it's time to wind down. This might include turning off screens an hour before bed, keeping your room cool and dark, and practicing relaxation techniques to reduce stress. A regular sleep schedule not only improves cognitive function, but also boosts mood and energy levels, creating a positive ripple effect on your daily performance. Exercise is another critical element of behavioral health hacking. It's not about becoming a fitness enthusiast, but about integrating movement into your routine in ways that energize you and reduce stress. Regular exercise releases endorphins, enhances cognitive function, and increases stamina. Even short bursts of activity, such as a brisk walk or a quick workout, can dramatically improve focus and productivity. Nutrition is the third pillar of health and wellness behavior hacking. What you consume fuels your body and brain, and poor nutrition can sap your energy, impair decision-making, and hinder concentration. By prioritizing a balanced diet rich in nutrients, you optimize your physical and mental performance. Avoid the temptation of sugar-laden snacks or heavily processed foods that offer a quick energy spike, followed by a crash. Instead, focus on whole foods that provide sustained energy throughout the day. Relationship and communication hacks. While individual discipline is crucial for success, no one operates in isolation. Relationships, both personal and professional, are the frameworks within which we succeed or fail. Enhancing these relationships through behavior modification is one of the most effective ways to improve your overall quality of life and professional performance. Communication is the foundation of all relationships, and mastering it can create opportunities where previously there were none. One key behavior to modify for better communication is active listening. Most people listen to respond, not to understand. By training yourself to truly listen, focusing not only on the words being spoken but on the emotions and intentions behind them, you create deeper, more meaningful connections. This not only improves personal relationships, but also builds trust and rapport in professional settings, which is essential for collaboration and influence. Empathy is another behavioral strategy that can transform relationships. When you approach interactions with empathy, you gain insight into the other person's perspective, motivations, and concerns. This allows you to tailor your communication in a way that resonates with them, whether you're negotiating a deal, managing a team, or nurturing a personal bond. Empathy doesn't mean agreeing with everyone, it means understanding them, which often leads to more productive and respectful dialogue. Additionally, learning to give and receive feedback effectively is a powerful tool for enhancing both personal and professional relationships. Feedback, when given constructively, helps others grow while also fostering a culture of openness and continuous improvement. At the same time, being open to feedback yourself demonstrates humility and a willingness to evolve. By hacking your behavior to seek feedback regularly, you not only accelerate your own growth, but also strengthen the relationships around you. Another strategy for relationship hacking is setting clear boundaries. In both personal and professional contexts, clear boundaries ensure that your time and energy are respected. By communicating your needs and expectations clearly, you create a framework for healthy, sustainable relationships. These boundaries are not about shutting people out. They are about creating space for mutual respect, trust, and productive collaboration. Behavior modification within relationships is about being intentional with every interaction. The small choices you make, whether to listen attentively, to offer empathy, or to set boundaries, accumulate over time, creating a network of relationships that support and enhance your journey toward success. Chapter 8. Long-term behavior change strategies. True, lasting change is not achieved through a single breakthrough or a moment of transformation. It is cultivated through sustained effort, reflection, and an ongoing commitment to recalibration. Behavior change, much like any pursuit of mastery, requires patience and a willingness to adapt as you progress. There will be times when your habits are working seamlessly and others when they seem to falter. The key to maintaining long-term change is developing the habit of reflection, regularly assessing your progress, recognizing what is working, and being honest about what needs adjustment. Reflection is the mirror that allows you to see beyond the immediate results. It invites you to pause and evaluate the bigger picture. Are your actions still aligned with your goals? Are you experiencing friction in certain areas that you didn't anticipate? By building moments of reflection into your routine, whether through journaling, mindfulness, or simply taking a step back at the end of each week, you gain clarity on the effectiveness of your habits. This self-awareness is critical because it helps you stay on track without being derailed by setbacks or distractions. Recalibration is the natural outcome of reflection. Long-term behavior change is not about rigidly sticking to a plan that no longer serves you. It's about continuously refining your approach. When you notice that certain habits aren't yielding the desired results, it's time to adjust. This could mean tweaking your routine, shifting your priorities, or even rethinking your goals entirely. The willingness to recalibrate ensures that your habits remain relevant and effective, preventing stagnation and frustration. Another vital element in sustaining behavior change is managing energy, not just effort. Burnout often occurs when you push yourself too hard, for too long, without recognizing the need for recovery. The myth of perpetual productivity is dangerous because it assumes that more effort always equals more results. In reality, consistent, sustainable growth comes from balancing periods of intense focus with moments of rest and rejuvenation. Building recovery into your routine, whether through physical rest, mental breaks, or simply disconnecting from work, ensures that you can maintain your momentum without depleting your reserves. One strategy to avoid burnout is to diversify your efforts. Instead of relying on one habit or one area of improvement, focus on multiple facets of your life. When one area becomes overwhelming, you can shift your focus to another without feeling like you've lost progress. This fluid approach to behavior change not only prevents burnout, but also keeps your journey dynamic and engaging. How to avoid burnout and maintain consistency over time. Consistency is often heralded as the key to success, and while that's true, maintaining it over the long haul requires more than just discipline. It requires strategy. The constant grind of pushing yourself day after day can wear down even the most motivated individual. That's why it's essential to approach consistency with a mindset that prioritizes sustainability over sheer willpower. The goal isn't to maintain perfection, but to establish a rhythm that you can maintain through all of life's fluctuations. One of the most effective ways to maintain consistency is by keeping your goals small and manageable. While ambitious goals are motivating, they can also be overwhelming if they're too far out of reach. By breaking your larger goals into smaller, actionable steps, you reduce the psychological pressure and make it easier to take daily action. Each small win builds momentum, reinforcing the habit and making it feel less like a chore and more like a natural part of your day. Another key to sustaining consistency is to build flexibility into your habits. Life is unpredictable, and rigid routines are often the first to crumble when unexpected challenges arise. Instead of creating habits that demand perfection, create ones that allow for adaptation. For example, if you've committed to exercising every day, make room for variability. Some days you might have the time and energy for a full workout. On others, a quick walk or stretch might be all you can manage. The important thing is to stay engaged with the habit, even if it's in a smaller capacity. This flexibility reduces the risk of feeling like you've failed when life gets in the way, making it easier to stay on track in the long run. Finally, recognizing the importance of celebrating progress, no matter how incremental, is crucial. Often, we get so caught up in the pursuit of a larger goal that we forget to acknowledge the small victories along the way. These milestones, however minor, are what keep you motivated and remind you of how far you've come. By taking the time to reflect on and celebrate your progress, you reinforce the positive behavior, making it easier to sustain over time. Adapting to changing circumstances. As you move through life, your circumstances will inevitably change. New challenges, opportunities, and responsibilities will arise, and your old routines may no longer serve you. The ability to adapt to these changes is what separates those who thrive in the long term from those who falter when faced with disruption. Behavior hacking is not about rigidly adhering to a set of practices. It's about creating a flexible framework that allows for growth and adaptation. When life shifts, your habits must shift with it. This doesn't mean abandoning everything you've built. It means evolving your approach to fit the new context. For example, if a major life event like a new job, a move, or a family obligation disrupts your existing routines, you don't have to give up on your habits. Instead, reassess the situation and find ways to modify your behavior to suit the new environment. This might mean scaling back certain habits, altering the time of day you practice them, or even replacing them with new behaviors that are more suited to your current reality. The key to successfully adapting your habits is maintaining a mindset of flexibility and openness. Clinging to old routines simply because they worked in the past can lead to frustration and failure. Instead, view each change in circumstances as an opportunity to reinvent your habits. Ask yourself, what new behaviors can I adopt that align with my current goals and constraints? How can I adjust my existing habits to better fit my new situation? By approaching change with curiosity and a willingness to experiment, you turn potential disruptions into opportunities for growth. Adapting to change also requires an honest evaluation of what is no longer serving you. As life evolves, certain behaviors that once supported your goals may become outdated or ineffective. Perhaps a morning routine that worked perfectly in your previous job now feels rushed and stressful. Or maybe a fitness habit that once energized you now feels monotonous. Recognizing when it's time to let go of certain habits and having the courage to do so is just as important as creating new ones. Reinventing your habits as life evolves. Reinvention is a natural part of any long-term behavior change journey. As you grow and evolve, so too must your habits. What served you well in one phase of life may not necessarily propel you forward in the next. The beauty of behavior hacking is that it's not a fixed process. It's a dynamic one that allows for constant recalibration and reinvention. Reinventing your habits is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of progress. When you reinvent your habits, you're essentially upgrading your systems to meet new challenges and opportunities. This process starts with a period of reflection and evaluation. Look at the habits you've built. Are they still aligned with your current goals and values? Are they delivering the results you want? If not, it's time to refine or replace them. This might involve creating entirely new routines or simply tweaking existing ones to better suit your evolving needs. Reinvention also requires a willingness to experiment. When you introduce new habits or modify old ones, there's always a period of trial and error. Some changes will work immediately, while others may require further adjustment. Embrace this experimentation as part of the process. The most successful behavior hackers are those who aren't afraid to test new approaches and iterate on them until they find what works best. Finally, reinvention is about recognizing that your habits are tools, not rules. They are meant to serve you, not the other way around. If a habit is no longer serving its purpose, it's not a failure to change it. It's a necessary step toward continued growth. By remaining adaptable, open to change, and willing to reinvent your habits as needed, you ensure that your behavior hacking journey continues to propel you forward, no matter what life throws your way. Chapter 9. Becoming your own behavior hacker. The power of self-experimentation. Self-experimentation is the art of crafting personalized experiments to uncover what truly works for you. This approach is grounded in the belief that the most effective solutions are often those tailored to your unique circumstances, goals, and challenges. Rather than relying solely on generalized advice or pre-established methods, self-experimentation empowers you to take control of your behavioral change journey by actively testing and refining strategies that resonate with your personal experience. To embark on a journey of self-experimentation, start by identifying specific areas where you wish to see improvement. Whether it's boosting productivity, managing stress, or adopting healthier habits, pinpointing clear objectives helps in designing focused experiments. Begin with small, manageable changes that you can easily integrate into your daily routine. This could involve adjusting your sleep schedule, modifying your work habits, or experimenting with different mindfulness techniques. The key is to keep these experiments simple and feasible so that you can easily track their impact. As you implement these experiments, maintain a detailed journal to document your observations. This includes noting the specifics of the changes you made, the immediate effects you experienced, and any longer-term shifts in behavior or outcomes. This record will serve as a valuable resource for understanding which strategies are most effective and why. Reflect on your findings regularly, and use this insight to tweak and refine your approach. Self-experimentation is an iterative process. It involves continuous learning and adjustment based on real-world feedback. One of the most powerful aspects of self-experimentation is its ability to foster a deep understanding of your own behavior. By actively engaging in trials and reflecting on their outcomes, you gain insights into your habits, motivations, and patterns that might not be apparent through conventional methods. This self-awareness is a crucial component of effective behavior change because it allows you to tailor strategies to fit your personal context and preferences. Creating your behavior hacking toolbox. Building a personal behavior hacking toolbox involves assembling a collection of strategies, techniques, and tools that empower you to effectively manage and improve your habits. This toolbox should be designed to address your specific needs and preferences, providing you with a flexible framework for ongoing self-improvement. Start by identifying the core tools and techniques that have proven effective for you in the past. This might include time management methods, productivity hacks, or techniques for managing stress. Incorporate these into your toolbox as foundational elements. Additionally, explore new strategies and approaches that align with your current goals. This could involve researching innovative behavior change techniques, experimenting with new technologies, or adopting novel self-care practices. An essential aspect of your toolbox is the ability to integrate these tools into a cohesive system. Consider how different techniques can complement each other to create a holistic approach to behavior change. For example, you might combine time management techniques with mindfulness practices to enhance both productivity and mental well-being. The goal is to create a personalized system that supports your ongoing growth and adapts to your evolving needs. Regularly assess and update your toolbox to ensure it remains relevant and effective. As you experiment with new strategies and tools, evaluate their impact on your behavior and adjust your toolbox accordingly. This might involve adding new techniques that you found particularly beneficial or discarding those that no longer serve your goals. Another important component of your toolbox is creating a support system that reinforces your behavior hacking efforts. This could include accountability partners, mentors, or online communities where you can share experiences, seek advice, and gain encouragement. Leveraging external support can enhance your commitment to behavior change and provide valuable feedback on your progress. Building your own system for continuous self-improvement. A well-crafted system for continuous self-improvement is dynamic, adaptable, and tailored to your personal growth journey. This system integrates various elements of behavior hacking into a cohesive framework that supports ongoing development and refinement. Start by establishing clear goals and benchmarks for your self-improvement journey. Define what success looks like for you and outline the steps needed to achieve it. This includes setting specific, actionable objectives and identifying the strategies you will use to reach them. Having a clear roadmap helps to maintain focus and motivation, ensuring that your efforts are aligned with your long-term vision. Next, create a structured plan for implementing and monitoring your behavior change strategies. This plan should include regular check-ins to assess your progress, reflect on your experiences, and make necessary adjustments. Incorporate tools such as habit trackers, progress journals, or self-assessment quizzes to measure your achievements and identify areas for improvement. Incorporate flexibility into your system to accommodate changes in circumstances and evolving goals. Life is unpredictable, and your behavior change strategies should be adaptable to new challenges and opportunities. Periodically review and adjust your plan to ensure it remains relevant and effective. Another critical aspect of your system is fostering a growth mindset. Embrace challenges as opportunities for learning and view setbacks as valuable feedback. This mindset not only enhances resilience, but also encourages a proactive approach to overcoming obstacles and refining your strategies. Finally, celebrate your achievements and milestones along the way. Recognize and reward yourself for the progress you make, no matter how small. This positive reinforcement boosts motivation and reinforces the habit of continuous self-improvement. By developing a personalized system for behavior hacking, you create a powerful framework that supports your ongoing journey of growth and transformation. This system not only helps you achieve your goals, but also empowers you to navigate the complexities of life with confidence and resilience. Conclusion: the journey of behavior hacking. The journey of behavior hacking is an evolving process that integrates self-discovery, strategic experimentation, and continuous refinement. This path is not a one-time effort, but a lifelong commitment to understanding and optimizing your habits, mindset, and environment. As you reflect on the strategies discussed throughout this guide, consider how these techniques can be woven into the fabric of your daily life to foster enduring success and personal growth. One of the cornerstones of long-term success in behavior hacking is the application of the strategies you've learned. Each principle and technique serves as a building block in constructing a more effective, efficient, and fulfilled version of yourself. From designing impactful micro-habits to creating intentional triggers and leveraging feedback loops, these tools are your arsenal for effecting meaningful change. The essence of behavior hacking lies in its iterative nature. Success in this realm is not about achieving perfection overnight, but about making incremental improvements and learning from each experience. Embrace the process of self-experimentation with openness and curiosity. Treat each attempt as an opportunity to gain deeper insights into what drives your behavior and how you can better align your actions with your goals. Continued growth and improvement come from embracing a mindset of exploration and adaptability. As life evolves, so too should your strategies. Be willing to adjust your approach, experiment with new techniques, and refine your methods to suit your changing needs and circumstances. This dynamic approach ensures that you remain engaged and motivated, constantly seeking ways to enhance your personal and professional life. Ultimately, the journey of behavior hacking is about mastering yourself and harnessing your potential to create a fulfilling and purposeful life. It is a journey marked by resilience, creativity, and a relentless pursuit of excellence. By integrating these strategies into your daily routine, you position yourself as the ultimate behavior hacker, capable of navigating life's complexities with confidence and skill. Continue to embrace the principles of behavior hacking with enthusiasm and dedication. Your path forward is illuminated by the insights you've gained and the progress you've made. As you advance, remember that each step you take is a testament to your commitment to becoming the best version of yourself.